Hey Barrelheads, today we're counting down and ranking the top 25 best-selling whiskeys in the US. And trust us, sales don't always mean quality.
There are some bottles on this list that I love and a few that make me question humanity. Let the chaos begin. For each of these bottles, we each gave a personal score from 0 to 100 and then averaged them out to rank them from F tier all the way up to S tier, best of the best.
This list is derived from the best-selling whiskeys from the past year. Some of these surprised us. Some even offended us. And I think that there's one that probably came from a bathtub in Mississippi.
It might have been a puddle.
But without further ado, here's our ultimate tier list for the 25 best-selling whiskeys in the United States.
Kicking things off, at number 25, we've got Canons Deluxe 12 year. So this one for me is an absolutely forgettable blended scotch.
I think it's a little decent. It's not, to me, the worst thing on the planet, but it is not my favorite blended scotch. Let's just put it that way. I'm gonna give it an 82. What do you give it, Ryan?
Wow, 82.
Yeah,
all right.
82.
Okay, I'm giving this the old 69.
Oh, of course you're gonna give it the old 69. I wouldn't expect anything less from you.
So I put this in the D tier, you put this in the B tier.
It's a low B, all right? Like, I was leaning towards B or C on this one, because to me, I agree, it's very forgettable. But, you know, it's our first on the list. Maybe I'm being a little too generous. But the fact that you give it 69, I gave it 82, that puts it at around 76, which that is C tier, which I think is a healthy compromise.
I think so. I think that's fair for Buchanan's.
For number 24, we've got Elijah Craig Small Batch. All right, so I think that this one is better than the Buchanan's.
Agreed.
All right, so at least we're in agreement there.
Yeah.
What number do you give it?
Elijah Craig has some solid products, but the small batch is definitely a solid sipper. I'm gonna give this one an 86.
Okay, all right, so I gave it an 89. I think it's tasty, it's budget friendly, it's not the best whiskey in the world by far, but to me, it's a solid B. I would give it a solid B.
Yeah, for the price you're paying for this thing and the taste, yeah, I agree.
All right, so 86, 89, that puts it right in the middle at about 88. B tier.
There you go. Moving on, number 23, we've got Canadian Club 100% Rye. Now for me, there's something about cheap Canadian whiskeys that don't move the needle for me at all.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like it. You know what, I'm being generous again.
Are you?
Because I'm gonna give this a high D.
Oh, okay.
And that's as good as it's gonna get.
Yeah.
Because I'm feeling good today. I'm feeling generous.
Okay.
So the only reason why I'm giving it a D is because it's slightly better than its competition, which we may or may not get to today. We'll see.
So what was your actual score?
I'm gonna give it the good old 69.
Okay.
You give it to Buchanan's, I give it to Canada.
Well, I'm not actually far off. I gave it a 68.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
So we're off by one.
Yeah.
Okay. So Canadian Club, I'm sorry, but you're getting D tiered at 69. At least you are, you know, up there.
Yeah, you're close to C, but you're never gonna get there.
Yeah, no, you're just gonna get the D. Number 22, we're going into Scotch territory. Glen Livit 12 year, which I think is a solid introduction to Scotch.
Yeah.
Therefore, I'm giving it an 84. It's not the best Scotch in the world. Again, it's still, you know, up there though. It's not bad. I think it's a very nice single malt. It has a lot of history. I appreciate it. It's not offensive. I enjoy it very much.
All right, I was fairly close to you on this one. This is a very good beginner-friendly Scotch, and it's a fairly nice balanced pour. So I gave it an 86.
Look at that, we're right there. So 84, 86, that puts it right at 85. B tier, where it belongs.
Yeah, that's a solid pick. Number 21. I can't believe we're even gonna talk about this one, but it is somehow a bestseller, and I don't know who the hell is buying this crap, and I am talking about none other than Southern Comfort.
Oh, Southern Comfort, you piece of crap.
Oh, God.
There's nothing comforting about Southern Comfort whatsoever. This one, I'm giving it a flat out 40, all right? This is crap. This is fake, cheap whiskey. It's not even flavored. I don't even know what this is. This is cheap crap. It's terrible. If you're gonna make a mixed drink, do yourself a favor and use something else, okay? You don't need to use this garbage. I don't care how cheap it is. You could get something else that's cheap, that's not this bad. This is bad. This is that crap that came from Mississippi in the bathtub somewhere. If that.
You're not far off, it's New Orleans based. It's left over on Bourbon Street. Well, you gave it a 40. I actually scored it much higher.
Oh. Why?
And by much higher, I mean 50.
I give it a 40, you give it a 50.
Yeah.
My math tells me that's a 45. Doesn't matter. It's still as F as it could get. It is terrible. Honestly, this thing belongs in a tier below F. This is straight up garbage. All right, Ryan, now to cleanse our palate a little bit from that garbage that we just spoke about.
What do you got for us?
We got number 20. And this one, we go from an F all the way to one of my favorite ones in this entire list.
Oh.
Angel's Envy.
This one's one of my favorites from the list as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I really do love the sweet port finish of the Angel's Envy. And it's usually a crowd pleaser when you bring it out at parties. I gave this one a 93.
Okay, all right, we're not terribly far off. I'm gonna go a little bit higher on this one.
Okay.
I gave this one a 96.
Ooh.
It is a delicious bourbon, and if you're a fan of finished bourbons, you're gonna love it because of the fact that it's finished in wine barrels. I think it also allows itself to be more pleasant to people who are not usual whiskey drinkers. They also get a little bit of those fruity notes that you get from a finished bourbon.
That puts us right at 95, which that makes it our first S tier level.
There you go, S tier Angel's Envy.
All
you
right.
belong there.
You know, I was surprised when I saw this list initially that Angel's Envy was in the top 25. I didn't think it was that high as far as sellers in the US.
I didn't think so either.
Yeah.
It's usually the bottom of the barrel stuff that's cheap that you would see sell more because college kids at bars, that's what they want to drink. But I'm glad that Angel's Envy is on this list.
Yeah. All right, next up, we are in the teens. At number 19, we've got Seagram's 7 Crown. And my advice to you is leave this one on the shelf.
No, it's not good. I'm gonna give it a 50. That's another one that to me is bad. It's not Southern Comfort bad, but it's bad.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give this one a 50. It doesn't taste good enough on its own, so you can't drink it neat, or you shouldn't. And if you're gonna use it in a cocktail. But again, that's one of those that I would rather use a better product in my cocktails than this crap.
Yeah. You gave it a 50.
I give it a 50.
I gave it a 60.
You're complimenting these crappy whiskeys a little too much.
Maybe I am.
So you give it 60, I give it 50. This one lands at 55. F tier.
Where it belongs.
Where it belongs, Seagram's. Sorry, buddy. So once again, we go from the F tier to something a lot more enjoyable. Now this one startled me for the same reason. I don't know who's buying this stuff.
Yeah.
But it is for the opposite reason, because it's very good, but it's so hard to find. And this one is Blanton's. I'm gonna give it a 96. I think it's very tasty. It has a lot of history. I'm also gonna knock down a few points because it's so damn hard to find. But clearly someone's finding it because it's selling. So I don't know how that's working.
Wow, you ranked it pretty high.
I gave it a 96.
Okay.
I think it's also up there as one of my favorites on this list.
Interesting. I was a little bit lower. I came in at an 85 for this one.
Wow.
Yeah. And
wow.
It's a good bourbon, don't get me wrong, but I also feel like it's very overpriced and rare for no reason.
So the rare part, it drives me nuts that it's so hard to find. I also don't understand that. I do think it's very tasty. I think it's worth the price. 85, 96, that puts us at a 91, give or take. A tier, right in the bottom of the A tier.
There you go.
But still very, very good.
Yeah, I think that's respectable for Blantons.
I think so too.
Yeah. All right, we are moving on to number 17. And we've got our first Japanese whiskey on the list.
Yeah. How about that?
We've got Hibiki Japanese Harmony. I think this is a nice Japanese whiskey, but it's not overly complex. So I'm gonna give this a middle of the road 85.
Okay, so yeah, I'm a little bit off with this one as well. I like it.
Okay.
I'm gonna give it a 93.
Okay.
I don't think it's the best Japanese whiskey in the world, but it's a very, very good Japanese whiskey. It's classy, it has Scotch-like flavors. And honestly, most of these Japanese distilleries are making incredible stuff. So to me, you can't go wrong.
It's gonna put it at the very high B tier, 89.
I don't think that's bad.
No.
I think that's respectable.
Yeah.
I was debating this one a lot too, because I would say it's between a B and an A. I gave it an A because honestly, I think it's a fantastic Japanese whiskey, but I could see it going B. It's a high B, it's respectable.
It is.
Number 16, we have Horoses small batch.
It's a solid bourbon from a great, respectable company. I'm giving it an 86.
86, look at that. I gave it an 88. So
Oh.
we're not that far off.
Nice.
I think it's a pretty good bourbon. I wouldn't call it quite A tier, but it's still enjoyable. It's not expensive. I think this is a great one.
Yeah.
I gave it an 88, you gave it an 86, and that puts it at a very respectable 87 B tier.
Moving right along to number 15. I don't know how I get stuck with all the ones, but we are moving on to Fireball Cinnamon Whiskey. This is probably one of the worst things on the planet.
Oh, I think Southern Comfort is actually worse.
It might be. Fireball is right up there with Jägermeister as one of the worst things you could possibly drink.
Yeah, it's syrupy, it's fake, I don't know what chemicals I'm drinking when I'm drinking this thing, but it doesn't taste like bourbon to me. It doesn't taste like whiskey. It doesn't even taste like cinnamon. I don't know what the hell this thing is, but you know what? College kids like them. You could use it to mix into something and make it into some sort of a drink. I'm gonna give it a 64. I'm gonna give it a 64. I actually think it's better than Southern Comfort and Seagram's.
Well, you know what I'm giving it?
What are you gonna give it?
I'm giving this a 40.
Ooh.
No matter where it lands, it's gonna be F tier.
Yes.
Between you and I, but yeah, we're gonna land right there at 52. F tier Fireball is what the F stands for.
So Ryan, you don't like the little tingly sensation that you get in your throat when you take down a shot of Fireball?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Well,
not a fan.
not me neither. Yeah. I don't blame you.
Yeah. I'd rather have allergies.
We're moving on to number 14. And once again, I get one of the great ones.
How?
I don't know how this is happening, but it's working out this way. We're going back to Scotch with the Macallan 12 Sherry Oak. If this one was the double oak, I wouldn't rank it as high.
Yeah.
But it's a sherry one, which I absolutely love. It's an excellent Scotch. It's not the most affordable, so that's why I knocked it down just a tiny little peg. But it's honestly one of my favorite options for everyday sipping, and that's why I'm giving it a full-blown 98.
I'm not far off, actually.
No.
Because even though it is a bit pricier and it tends to get some heat for that, this is one of my favorite bottles just to sip on. And it was my introduction to Scotch and will always have a special place for me. And I'm gonna give it a 95.
You put it at 95, I put it at 98. That gives it a score of 97. And that makes it officially an S tier.
Welcome, Macallan, to S tier. Well, this is the shocker of all shockers. For number 13, I actually get a good one.
There you go.
How about that?
Look at that.
Thank you.
I'm a giver. I like to give, Ryan. That's what I do.
So at number 13, we've got Knob Creek 9-year. Now for me, this is actually my favorite bottle on this entire list, believe it or not.
What?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
The Knob Creek 9?
The Knob Creek 9.
Okay.
There's something about it that I really enjoy. So I am giving this one a 96.
Holy smokes.
Yep.
I did not expect a 96 from you on this one. It's a very good bourbon. It has a bold age statement. I very much enjoy it. But to me, it's in the very high B tier for me.
Okay.
Therefore, I'm giving it an 89.
So between our two scores, between the 96 and the 89, we're looking at a 93, which puts it solidly in the A tier.
Now, number 12, we've got Basil Hayden. Now, for me, Basil Hayden, I enjoy a lot. It's gentle, it's slightly spiced. It's a very, very nice bourbon if you're not a huge fan of big, bold flavors. I'm personally on the fence whether this could be a high B or a low A, but I'm gonna go with a low A at 90.
Yikes, we are pretty far off on this one.
Really?
Yeah. You know, I enjoyed Basil Hayden when I first started getting into whiskey, and I do still like some of their like cask finish products. Their toasted is very good, the red wine cask is very good, but for their standard bourbon, it feels a bit watered down and a little light. So for that reason, I'm giving it a 76.
You're giving it a 76.
Yeah, wow.
Damn it, Ryan.
You're pretty far off on this one.
I don't think it belongs in the 76. Maybe a 90 might be a little too generous, but between your 90 and my 76, I think that puts it right at 83. 83 B tier, low B tier at that.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
We want to hear from you guys. What do you guys think about Basil Hayden?
And also keep in mind, if you're a whiskey enthusiast, this might not be for you. But if you're just starting to get into whiskey and bourbon, maybe this one will be one that you would enjoy.
Look at you trying to sway the jury over
I'm
here.
trying to sway the jury, I know.
At number 11, we've got Mr. Buffalo Trace.
Again, another one that I don't know how I made it this far into the best-selling list when it's so hard to find.
Yeah.
But people are buying them.
Yeah.
They're going somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, as of this shooting, they're becoming easier to find.
Yeah.
Lately.
That's true.
But for a long time, they were not. I think it's a great bourbon. For the price, if you can find it at MSRP, under $30, it's a great bourbon. I'm gonna give this one a 95.
Actually, I'm right there with you. I'm giving it a 95 as well.
Look at that.
I'm gonna use my favorite word again. It has all the flavors of a quintessential bourbon.
There it is.
This one to me has all the flavors that bourbon is known for, and I absolutely love it for that. It's great sipping on its own. It's great to use in an old fashioned. I think this is honestly one of the most versatile bourbons out there. And at the price of under $30 MSRP, like you said, it's easier to find now. I don't think you get a better bourbon. So 95, 95, obviously that puts it at 95, right at the S tier.
Look at that. First time we've had one exactly even.
Look at that.
Well
there
done.
you go.
Cheers.
Cheers to that. All right, guys, now we are in the top 10 best-selling whiskeys of the United States of America. Who's ready? Number 10 is Evan Williams Black Label.
It's not gonna blow you away, but my opinion is I think this one might be the most underrated bottle on the list. Not one that people often talk about, but it's a solid bourbon. I'm gonna give this one an 85.
Okay, we're not that far off.
Okay.
I'm gonna give this one an 82. It's decent, it's cheap, it's a bourbon. I think it has a little bit of a burn. It's okay, it has a quick finish. And I think that my rating lands right where it belongs at 82. You give it 85, so it's gonna land at an 84.
Okay.
B tier, I think that's very solid.
Yeah. For number 9, we've got Wild Turkey 101.
See, this one to me is another great bang for your buck bourbon. It's a delicious bourbon. I don't think this one's quite as good as Buffalo Trace, and for that reason, I'm giving this one a 90.
Well, your analysis was spot on because I had a very similar analysis, and I actually had the same exact score.
Oh!
I am also giving this a 90. It's a very much an entry-level bourbon, but for $20, like you said, this is one of the best, if not the best, bang for your buck bourbon out there.
Wow, okay, so 90, 90. This gives it a 90, A tier.
Wow, really?
It sure does. Cheers.
Wow, good math.
Now we got number 8 with Woodford Reserve.
Now, I enjoy a lot of Woodford's offerings. Their double oaked is fantastic, but for their standard bourbon, this one's okay for me, so I'm gonna give it a low B tier at 81.
Okay, all right, so I like it a little bit more than you did. It's tasty, the flavors are great, but to me, it's not quite as good as Buffalo Trace or even Wild Turkey 101, which is a lot cheaper. It's still a great pour, I enjoy it. You can make a sophisticated old fashioned with it if you so desire. And for that reason, I am giving it an 89.
We're both B tier.
Yes.
Upper B tier, lower B tier, so it's gonna be smack in the middle of B tier.
Right, at 85, it's gonna land on B tier, Woodford Reserve.
Moving on to number 7, we have a great one. Johnnie Walker Black Label. Now this one is probably the most versatile bottle on this list. It's great neat, it's great on ice, it's great in cocktails, and it's a great price too. I give it a solid 91.
I am very close. I probably like it a little bit more than you do.
Okay.
I give it a 93.
Oh, not far.
No, not far at all.
Okay.
To me, when it comes to Scotch, there's no bottle better at the price point than Johnnie Walker Black. The blend is complex, providing notes of smoke and oak and fruit and peat, and it has all these different flavors combined that I absolutely adore. In a Scotch, that's another one to me that it could be an everyday sipper. I very much enjoy it. For me, it's a 93. You give it a 91. That puts it at 92, which is A tier. Number 6 best-selling whiskey in the US, that is Bulleit Bourbon.
Now this one's really high up on the list. I mean, I figured it would be there because of how often you see it in bars, but I didn't think it would be number 6.
I know, I agree.
So what are you gonna give it?
I'm giving this one a 79. It's pretty middle of the road. It's not offensive. It's not complex. It's not good. It's not bad. It's in the middle somewhere. To me, I like it. You know, if you're gonna use it to mix for a cocktail, this is a great choice.
Fair enough. I'm actually not far off. I gave it a 77. And for me, Bulleit is a brand I exclusively use for mixing. So that's why I put it in the C tier. It's a solid bourbon, but it's not great.
There you go. Yeah, I think you're right. So 77, 79, that leaves it right at 78. C tier, Bulleit Bourbon.
Boom. Now that we've reached the top 5 best-selling bottles, we'd like to remind you to like, share, subscribe to our channel if you're liking the content so far. It really helps our channel grow. We have big plans for 2025, but we can't achieve them without your support.
And if you really want to go above and beyond, please consider a purchase from our YouTube merch shop. We have our extra sexy Barrel Hunter shirt, whiskey glasses, and so much more. Every dollar we make goes into our videos. Now, on to number 5.
We've got Maker's Mark. I like a lot of Maker's products. Their cask strength and their heart release are fantastic, but I've never been a huge fan of their basic bourbon. Other than that, I use it for cocktails, so I'm gonna give this a 79.
I'm probably ranking this one a little bit higher than I should. I'm gonna give it an 87. Like many on this list, it's very solid. It's great for mixing. You could sip on it, neat, perhaps. It's also not my favorite. To me, I think it belongs in the B tier, somewhere in the middle. So that's where I put it, 87.
I mean, between our 2 scores combined with the 87 and 79, it lands at 83. So it's in the B tier on the lower end, but still, I think a B tier is a good place for it.
Number 4, we've got Jim Beam White Label.
Not a great bottle. If you have to use it for mixing. Other than that, leave it there.
So what's your number?
Oh, thank you. I'm glad you reminded me. 74 is my number.
Okay.
I was just so angry that I forgot to give my number.
No, I'm actually gonna agree with you very, very closely.
Okay.
You ranked it a 74, I gave it a 75.
All right.
This one, to me, is pretty meh. It's not exciting, it has some heat. It's not crazy complex. It's okay. Like you said, use it in a cocktail. I wouldn't sip it neat.
Okay. So, I mean, that leaves it solidly in a C tier.
Yeah.
75 between the two of us.
All right, Ryan, now this is getting exciting because we are in our top 3 best-selling whiskeys in the US. And some of these, if not all of these, are gonna surprise you.
Number 3, it's an Irish whiskey. And I am a huge fan of Irish whiskeys, and this is one of my least favorite Irish whiskeys.
Nice.
We've got Jameson. Let me tell you what I'm thinking about Jameson.
You tell me,
Okay.
you tell me, Ryan.
I have never been a big fan of Jameson. It's always had this mass appeal. The producers of Jameson also produce Redbreast, which is one of my favorite bottles in the world. And it's hard to believe they're made in the same place. But Jameson is not living up. So I'm gonna give it a 75.
All right, Ryan, well, this is where you and I are gonna agree.
Oh, I thought you were gonna take me on a ride there.
Oh, I am gonna take you on a ride, but that's for later.
Oh no.
God, you're so immature.
So you gave it a 75. I'm giving it a 76.
Oh, you're right there.
Right there.
Right
It has a quick finish. It's pretty forgettable. An Irish whiskey, there's so many other Irish whiskeys out there that are so much better. Obviously, the price plays a significant role on why this one's so popular. 76, 75. That leaves this one at a solid 76 C tier. Jameson Irish whiskey.
There it is.
Our number 2 best-selling whiskey. I'm excited about this one because I am actually a low-key fan of this bottle.
All right.
I enjoy it very much.
Okay.
And that is Jack Daniel's Old Number 7.
Jack has some good products. You know, we've had their Coy Hill, their single barrel barrel proof is really good. But as far as the Old Number 7 goes, I only use that one for mixing. I'm not a big fan of that one neat or on ice. That one's a straight mixer for me, so I'm gonna give it a 78.
78. Okay, so this is another one that we're a little bit off on.
Okay.
I wouldn't give it like S tier by any means. I'm gonna give this one an 89, which is a solid high B, because to me this is the classic Tennessee whiskey. I think it gets a bad rap, but I personally enjoy the flavor of this almost bourbon because it follows all the rules to be a bourbon, except it goes through a charcoal filtering process. Not the best in the world, but I certainly wouldn't rank it lower than a B.
It's gonna end with an 84 between our scores and right there in the middle of the pack at B tier.
There it is. All right, guys, are you ready for the number 1 best-selling whiskey in the United States? Can you guess what that is? Because I was shocked when I found out.
You know, if you were to ask me blindly before we put this list together or before we found this list, I would have guessed that Jack Daniel's was number 1. I wouldn't have guessed this one was number 1. And number 1 is Crown Royal Deluxe. Are you kidding me?
This is the United States of America, and the best-selling whiskey is a Canadian whiskey.
And it's not very good either.
And it's terrible.
Yeah. It's a straight up mixer. No more, no less. 66, that's what I'm giving it.
No, you're being kinder than I am. This thing tastes exactly like what it is. Cheap, spicy whiskey that very few people could endure neat. I've actually done a whiskey tasting before where I included this piece of crap and I regretted it immediately. You see people tasting it, and the moment they taste it, you see their lips pucker and a tear drops from their eye. And they're like, this is just gonna go downhill if this is where we're starting at. And then they find out what they're drinking. They're like, well, no shit, this is garbage.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give this one a 62, which is slightly below your 66. So it lands at 64, a big old F-bomb for Crown Royal, which is our number 1 best-selling whiskey.
The number 1 best-selling whiskey gets F tier.
Yeah.
That's gonna tell you all you need to know.
Why is that one number 1?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you. Maybe they do really good marketing. Who knows?
I don't know anybody. I don't go to people's houses and see a bunch of Crown Royals on the shelves either. We pulled this list from Yahoo Finance, so this isn't something that we just made up. Apparently, this is legitimately the best-selling whiskey in the United States.
What are you doing, US?
We got this, guys. We stick together, one whiskey at a time. We could change the world, make it a better place for you and for me.
Well, That was a pretty fun and interesting test of our whiskey preferences. We were pretty close on a lot of things, but there were clearly a couple bottles that you and I saw very differently.
You know, I was surprised at how many times we were actually in sync, to be honest. Flavor profiles could vary widely.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we did not do this together.
Right.
You came up with your list, I came up with mine. And we surprisingly got on point on a few of them.
Yeah, definitely.
Now looking at the tier list, we only ranked 1 in the D category and 4 in F. Most of the bottles are in B. So at the very least, most of the whiskey being consumed by the masses in the United States is pretty good quality in my book.
Except Crown Royal.
Yeah, that was a bad choice. And Fireball, what are you guys thinking?
Oh, Southern Comfort.
Oh, I almost gagged when you said that.
Yeah. All right, guys, let us know in the comments what would be your personal S tier, and if you're brave enough to admit it, your F tier also.
Make sure you like, subscribe, and share with your friends. Let them know that we are building a community of whiskey lovers just like you.
Till next time, cheers.
Cheers.